Today I'm going to be making an instructional video that I think would be very useful to a lot of you who have followed the trend of using a clipless curling iron. I know that I do receive occasional messages from YouTube users who have bought a clipless curling iron because of my videos or other hair guru videos. But once they receive the clipless curling iron and they open the box, they get really excited, they want to use it right away, but the curls don't come out the way that they saw them on a video. So I wanted to make this video with very detailed instructions on how to use the clipless curling iron properly. I am featuring the Pro Collection Clipless Curling Iron, and this is by Cortex International. I have provided a coupon code for you guys in the information box. Please check it out. And there is, of course, a discount on purchasing this product from beautychoice.com. So let's go ahead and get started with the Clipless Curling Iron Video 101. So before we get set up, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn on my curling iron. And meanwhile that is warming up, I'm going to go over the basics on how to get started. So first thing you notice when you open the box is that there is a heat protectant glove that is included with the product. So you want to go ahead and use this glove. Don't use any other type of glove that you find around the house, because this glove is specifically made to protect your hand from the heat. So it does not burn as you touch the clipless curling iron. Take it and you're going to put it all over your hair. If you're going to ask me what type of heat protectant I recommend, I will put a link in the information box. But just put it all over your hair, making sure that you focus especially on the ends. The answer to that is usually I don't. And the reason is because my hair holds a curl pretty well. But if your hair doesn't, I recommend that you wash your hair the night before, and right when it's damp, go ahead and add a little bit of extra hold mousse. Let it air dry overnight and then curl your hair in the morning. Is you're going to put the heat protectant glove on the hand that's going to be controlling the hair. One of your hands is going to be actually holding the curling iron either this way or this way upside down, and then the other hand has to be able to wrap the hair around the curling iron. If you are right-handed, I recommend that you use your right hand to hold the curling iron upside down, and then the left hand can do the work of twirling the hair. If you're left-handed, then of course you're going to do the opposite. You're going to hold it with your left hand upside down, and you're going to use your right hand to curl it. For some reason that just feels more natural to me, and I am right-handed, but find whatever you feel feels more comfortable for you. So maybe you can even practice without the curling iron. Just put your hand over your head and pretend that you're holding the curling iron upside down and that it's sticking out right here. Wrap it and see what feels more comfortable, if it's this or this. And that's very important, because if you don't feel comfortable, you can really mess up the curl, or even worse, you can burn yourself because you're not being coordinated with your hands. Now, another thing that I see girls do when they first use a clipless curling iron is they automatically just start grabbing pieces of their hair, like random sections, and then curling it and throwing it back, and then taking another section and then curling it and then throwing it back. It's really important that you focus on keeping everything really neat and organized. I mean, if you want your hair to look messy, if you want to have messy curls, then you can do it that way. But if you want your hair to really stand out, if you want people to compliment you, you want to look really nice, presentable for a special occasion, you really want to take your time with your hair. With that said, I recommend that you work in sections. Now what I'm doing is I'm just taking the bottom half of my hair and tying up the top half. Start taking smaller sections, and be really careful when you're taking sections of your hair to make sure that it's really nice and neat. Like here's a really good section because it's all together. There are no pieces that are kind of like being pulled from another section that's really awkward. See how I have like this section here? An awkward piece would be something like something being pulled from this side, like that. And hopefully you guys can see that with my dark hair. I'm going to make it really obvious to show you. But you see how this piece is like from way over here, and then it's connected to this one. And so now you've got like a real awkward piece that looks like that. I've got pieces hanging from this side, and they're all connected over here. I know that that seems like a lot of detail to pay attention to, but it really isn't. I mean, all you have to do is just make sure that you don't grab sections, like really random sections. Be really neat about it. And I put my glove on my left hand to take my curling iron, and it's very hot, so I have to be really careful not to burn my face, my hands, or anything as I am going to tilt it right behind my head, and then I'm going to move it back here. This is one method. I highly recommend that you use a mirror when you do this. Then you're going to take it and you're going to wrap it, okay? The other way you can do it is you can put it here in front of you, turn your head this way so that your curling iron is actually positioned facing down, and then you're going to twist it. Discuss is how to wrap your hair around the curling iron, which is really important. If you want very loose waves, then you can go ahead and wrap it like this. If you look really closely, you can see that I am not wrapping my hair really tightly, like, you know, the old 1980s telephone cords that were coiled. You can see that my hair isn't really too coiled. And then you can release it, and you're going to get a wave that looks like that. Another common mistake is to take a section of hair and just get really excited about having this curling iron and then go like this. This happens to a lot of girls. Like they'll just, you know, kind of like wrap it, and then like the rest of the hair is not on the curling iron, and then they let it go and they get something that looks like this. See that? And that's really annoying because you're trying to obtain the real tight curls. So here's what I recommend. I recommend, again, that you use the curling iron in front of the mirror, in front of a mirror. Take it, and you're going to get as close to your scalp as possible, and then you're going to twist as all the sections really close together, and when you get to the end, you just kind of like really lightly push them all the way up, and it'll create a real tight coil right at the top. And you're going to hold it. If you want super tight curls, I would recommend holding it for about 10 to 20 seconds, depending on the thickness of your hair. If you have really fine hair, I would recommend you use it for less time. But if you have really thick and coarse hair, 10 to 20 seconds is good. Then as you can see, I pulled it out. I'll do that again. It was a pull out, and I didn't pull the hair. The hair is still in there, and it's still in a coil. And then you can see that that is what the curl will look like. A lot of times girls, I always hear girls say, well, who cares about the bottom because the bottom will be covered up by the top curls. But that is not true. Have you ever looked at a girl who really doesn't pay attention to the bottom curls and how the bottom ones are like really wavy and almost tangled looking, and then the top ones are really smooth and shiny? You really can see that, and usually yourself, you can't see it because you're not obviously able to have, you know, the view of your back, but other people can see it from the side, from the back. So it's really important that you don't just give attention to the curls that are on top of your hair or the ones that just frame your face. It's really important that you give attention to all of the curls, and believe me, it will really make a difference in the way that your hair looks. What I'm doing here is I have all my bottom section, and I just moved them all to one side, and while they're resting on this side, I'm going to take this whole side here, excluding the back, and I'm going to start working on this side so that I don't mix the hair up. The more layers you work with, the more volume your hair is going to have. Also, the direction in which you curl all your curls, if you go in different directions for each section, you're going to have more texture and obviously a little bit more volume. So what I mean by layers is like taking this section and curling it, and then taking this section and curling it, taking this section and curling it, and so on. I'm going to demonstrate one type of curl just on the bottom section of my hair, and that is the spiral with a twist. So you're going to give your hair kind of like a little twist, just 1 or 2 times, and then you're going to take it and you're going to wrap it. As you're wrapping it, at the same time, you're kind of like adding a little bit of a twist. Pushing it up toward the edge. You can also choose to hold the end of your hair as opposed to wrapping your whole hand on the hair and the curling iron, because it does get really warm. And then once you're done, and you just pull the curling iron out. Remember not to tug on your hair, and then you'll have this type of spiral. You see how it's more like tighter, there's not as much like thickness in it, as opposed to how these came out, which are a little thicker and a little more flowy. These are a little bit more thin and kind of spirally. I'm going to curl the hair away from my face, so I'm going to wrap it, and the hair is going to go in the front, curling iron goes in the back, and then you follow through with the curl. Once you're done, you just release it, and then you have a curl going that way. And so you're going to put the curling iron, instead of going like back here, the curling iron is going to go in the front, and then you can curl it forward like this. And all that's going to do is it's going to really prevent them from creating one huge curl, because usually your hair tends to want to come back together when you separate it, and if it's all kind of shaped the same way, then it'll create a big curl. I would recommend that for something like a real cute ponytail, or if you're going to be wearing like a retro kind of pinup look, it looks really nice. But if you really want like the big curls and like the real sexy, you know, voluminous kind of curls, then you really want to use different directions. I'm going to be working on the next few layers as I showed you earlier, and when I'm done with this side and this side, then I'm going to show you the top. Take my hair down from the top, and I'm going to move it to the other side and just work on the top part. Now that you've given so much importance and attention to all of your curls on the side and on the bottom, now comes the top layer, which is in fact the most important, because it does cover all of the bottom curls. Not that the bottom ones are not important, like I said before, but the top one does kind of like add the cherry on top, so to speak. There are a couple of things that you can do depending on how you're going to be parting your hair. If you are going to take your crown and you're going to push all the curls back and you want some volume back here, what you're going to do is you're going to take your hair and you're going to take the curling iron. Then you're going to put it kind of like sideways and wrap it like this. And this is just going to lift your hair up from the root. And then you have, it's kind of like lifted. So when you put the curl down, you have that kind of lift right there. Leave it like this, and then once it cools off, you can spray it with some hairspray and you can tease it later. If you're going to be parting it to the side, then I highly recommend that you curl it away from your face. Put the curling iron in the back and then curl it away from your face like this. And I usually like to keep these front curls very, very soft and very wavy as opposed to creating like a super tight curl. So I'm going to move the rest of my hair so that you guys can see that. And also I curled it so that it's got like this here and then it goes down. See, I didn't put the curling iron way up here, I just kind of like kept it here. And I also moved them away from my face, keeping them very natural and at the same time pushing the curling iron back. And that will push the curls and give you kind of like the wispy look as opposed to them curling right here in your face and always getting in your face. Really don't want to add any curls on this section of your hair because you're going to have dents in it. So I highly recommend that you take it, curl it maybe just a little bit like this, and then just go ahead and pin it back. As you're curling the top, remember not to get lazy. I know that your arms get tired or it gets hot or you start getting anxious. You want to hurry up and finish, but you've really got to spend time on yourself to make yourself look nice, to make yourself look pretty. Don't allow your anxiety or your laziness or your tired feelings to cause you to stop, because it really is important to take care of yourself and to make yourself look nice. If you're going to be doing this to your hair, then, you know, do it right, in my opinion. Strongly emphasize one more time, do use a mirror and keep track of all of the different sections of hair that you're curling. You don't want to leave any stragglers behind because that looks really funny and it just looks really messy and awkward. So pay attention, make sure that you do get all of the sections of your hair. I'm almost done and I'll show you guys the final result. What I did is I turned the light really bright on myself so that you can see the details of my hair. You can see how neat the curls look because I gave my hair a lot of attention, a lot of time. That is what ended up giving me really high quality looking curls. At this point, you can choose to add some hairspray, any type of product that you feel that will hold your curls or will make them look shiny. And you can also choose to leave them just like this. Or you can, once they've cooled off, you can run your fingers through them to give you more of like a loose, wavy type of curl. Take your brush or your teasing comb, take the crown section of your hair, tease it, spray it with a little bit of hairspray, and that'll give you a little bit of body back here. The purpose and the benefit of using a clipless curling iron is that you don't have that clip that's on top. Once it falls over the barrel, the actual clip, if you wrap your hair around it, you're going to have the indentation of the clip that is over the barrel. Now, if you're just using it to do like waves or anything like that, you can probably get away with using a regular curling iron. But if you want really tight curls and you're going to be holding your hair against the curling iron for a long time to give you like much longer lasting curls, I wouldn't recommend using a regular curling iron because the clip in the curling iron is going to cause indentations in your hair. This clipless curling iron gives you a more neater look. There are no indentations in your hair, and overall it's just really smooth spiral type of curls. I hope that this video has been really helpful to all of you who have been having a difficult time using a clipless curling iron. If there are any questions that were not answered, please go ahead and ask them in the comments below. I will definitely answer them when I have time. And any frequently asked questions I will post in the information box. So if you have a question and you think it might have already been answered, go ahead and check the information box. The curling iron that I used, as well as the heat protectant that I used today, is located in the information box as well. And thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed to my videos, please do. I hope that you've been inspired.